go to my website, margotbelldesigns.com.au, you will find a pattern for mask 1 and mask 2, which you can print out and get sent to your email. So the idea of this is to explain how I've worked out how to size this mask pattern. So the way to measure your mask is quite technical. The way to measure your mask is the first finger length versus the thumb length, okay, on mask medium size and large size. I've only given you 2 sizes for the pattern piece online because it depends on the size of your hands, okay, which you'll work out if you put these over your face. This is the best way to measure your mask. Okay? So a diamond shape, put our fingers together and we pop it over our face like this. This is how we measure our mask, okay? If you put it on your nose, halfway up your nose, and tuck it under your chin, okay, then that is ample space as to how big your mask should be. My mask for my face is this measurement, okay, which is my first finger and my thumb, okay? So if this fits into here, so this is my finger and this is my thumb, okay? So you've got first finger length and thumb length. So if you put that to the end and that to the end, it should go right into that right angle here, okay? If you've got a gentleman or someone with much larger hands and they are a little bit higher here in the first finger length, or the thumb length is a little bit longer, you can adjust that by doing some simple pattern making yourselves. And then if it's a bit longer, recreate this curve out, okay? Generally, the larger you go, the more of a curve you'll need. Also, with the larger nose, you'll need a little bit more of a curve. If you've got a flatter nose, then you can drop off some of the curve, okay? Here's a picture of a child's hand, which is slightly smaller than the pattern, so we need to adjust it. And then a picture of a male's hand, which is slightly larger, so you need to adjust that to fit into the size of the first finger and the thumb. Generally, this diamond shape that we have with our fingers is the technical way of measuring our mask, okay? A lot of masks come out sideways and have one tie coming off this way and one tie coming off that way. But this one that I've developed is, I find, way more comfortable, and only one elastic makes it a lot easier. You can also add 1 layer of fusing into this, which makes it 3 layers of fabric. A lot of doctors and a lot of medical professionals state that you need 3 layers in a mask. So if we added a layer of fusing in, or a layer of Vilene, iron-on fusing, this one, which is particularly good at stopping particles coming through the mask. So you could do that on the outside layer, which would give you a nice smooth finish over your curve. If you go to the website, print off the 2 pattern pieces and then trim one of the edges along the side, and then you can stick these 2 together, right? So you've got registration marks here, and just get some sticky tape, line up these lines exactly where they are, and pop some sticky tape over it. Obviously, if you're only doing the one mask, you won't need to stick them together, but you might want to try both masks just to find what is more comfortable for you, okay? You also need to measure with a ruler before you cut any of these out. With a ruler, measure that this actually measures 10 centimetres this way and 10 centimetres this way to the last millimetre. If it's not measuring, then we need to make sure that we're printing this pattern piece to scale of 100% and not smaller or larger, okay? It says do not cut this square out, okay? It's merely a test square to make sure you've got the right size pattern, all right? Then this is mask number 2 pattern, which these are our tucks going in the upward direction, and this is the top. This is the grain line that we're working with. The dashed line is our stitching line, and the solid line is the cutting line, okay? So on our mask style number 1, this solid line for the black is our cutting line for a medium size, and the same solid arch angle here, and the green line is for a size large, okay? But it also depends on your size of your first finger and your thumb. Okay, with this mask number 2, the sample that I've made is a medium size. If you're doing a gentleman, which is generally a larger size than an average female, you may want to go a centimetre or 2 longer that way and a centimetre or 2 longer this way. Depends on the size. If you were to try the mask onto the male, and it might be coming up this size, and you might need to go a little bit bigger or a little bit longer. Maybe try a few different sizes until you get the right size mask. Mask number 1, we have outside piece and a lining piece. So we're just going to stitch along our 1 centimetre seam each. Making sure our notches match here. Gently around the curve. Make sure the points are even. And to open this bit out, you'll see sitting flat here. Okay, across the top edge along the side. And we'll do the same on the lining bit. Then we're going to put the right side to the right side. Okay. Now, one way to make sure that your seams are matching is to stitch down one side and over to the other side. So that these are lining up. Put it right in the middle. Seam. Stitch down around to one side. It's going to come in 3 or 4 centimetres. We can turn it over. You can seam to match that. Beautiful. Much easier than starting on one side and coming around the other way. Okay. Lining side. Line up the corners. Do the same. Down 3 or 4. We can trim our corners off. Make sure you don't cut the stitching. And we're going to bag it inside out. Take your fingers into the corners. Kind of looks like a stingray, doesn't it? Snips right into the corners here without pushing through the point. Then what we can do is go to the inside of it. We've stitched it from the top. I just want to catch the lining to the right side, okay, along this edge. So if you hold the edge, make sure that that's bagged out to the edge, and hold it on the inside. It gets a bit fiddly. We're just going to attach that in the middle to the seam on the other side. And that lining is going to hold onto the outer fabric. Maybe just come in about 5 mils. Making sure you just have one side of it, not both sides of the seam. Okay. And then we need to go about 5 centimetres from the top, back in that way. And we'll get the other side. We can attach the other side to the edge. And onto your top edge. Really good this bagging out business. Right, I'll have you doing tailoring in no time at all. So you're holding on to the top edge. Now we're going to hold on to this side. And just catch it same. Making sure it's just those 2 layers. Not the other side. same 5 centimetres from the top. And on the back. So then you can see how our lining is being held, okay? So it's not going to stick up your nose when your mask is on. Separate these seams on the inside. Fold this one in a centimetre. And this one in a centimetre. And we can stitch along the bottom edge in case it all in, okay? Yes, it's white stitching and blue, but it doesn't really matter. You could do blue and blue if you wanted to. You can stitch all the way around the outside if you want to. I'm not going to for today. You can go and press it if you want to. You can just pop your elastic on. But you know, once that's on your nose, it's not going to flap up into your face because it's all attached. I'm going to stitch our elastic twice to make sure it's held, okay? It's to hold it, and then another time over the top, okay? Then there's no raw elastic edges, it's all cased in. See, it's all neat. Once again, you can sew in blue if you want to. It's just easier for you guys to see at home the stitching that I've actually done. So this elastic, I've cut it 39 centimetres. Come around the other side, move it all around that way and then that way, so that's all in one flat loop, okay? And we're catching it twice, so it's not going to come undone. You might want to try your mask on and check that that's the right measurement for you. You might want to try it before you actually cut it. Maybe just stitch one side on and then try it on, and then cut it longer or shorter depending on what feels comfortable. It's definitely more comfortable down at the back of your neck rather than higher up on the top of your head. But everyone's different, so you can choose where you want your elastic to sit. You might have it sitting on a ponytail, or sitting on your glasses, or sitting on your ears. Let's try it on. This is the try on session to see what you think of the masks once they're on, okay? We have the two different varieties. This one I find more comfortable. Everyone's different, so everyone likes their own style, but I've done 3 styles for you just to try and see exactly which one you like is best. So if we pop this one on, it's got the 2 layers as well, which is really great. And you could have it reverse if you felt like wearing white one day and you felt like wearing blue one day. So I'm just going to pop it on and then strap it on around the back. It sits on your nose, okay? Ideally with the strap, the seam down the middle of your nose. And then I have the one single strap that comes down around my neck. It's not super duper tight there. Everyone's different, depends on the measurement, but this one is designed to just sit with this one strap. You could have another strap coming up around your head. If this is too loose, then it will fall down, but at the moment this is sitting nice and firm, okay? Depends on the size of your nose as well, and whether or not your nose can hold it, okay? All right. So this is mask style number 2, which we have cut out, and we're going to fold it over in half, and I'm going to show you how to cut some notches. So notch, you just want to cut sort of about 3 mils of the fabric, so you know where to move your tucks to. And you know that your left and your right side is going to be the same. And you can see you should have 2, 4, 6 notches along there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And open it out. You can go on the right side. And we're going to put our first notch to the second notch. So if you line it up at the side, like that, and then the second one to the third one, and the third one to the fourth. Might be can do, fold it across. One. I have to hook them all up and stitch them all at once. And you have these tucks in there so that when it opens out over your noose, you have a little bit of movement there. So we've got notch, 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 notch. Pull that thread through. Just catch it on the side. So you can see we have 1, 2, 3, and then we can do the same on the other side. So 1, pull it, see where your notches sit. 2, 3. You pull it on this side, you can see those tucks going all the way across your lovely new mask. So there we have our tucks. You can go and press it now if you want, so it sits nice and flat. Roll it over the edge of your machine. Now with this pattern we're actually going to double neaten the sides. So once we've got those down, if you don't have an overlocker, or if you don't have access to a zigzag, or if you don't like it, you can just double neaten. So fold in 1 centimetre and then a 2 centimetre. I've done contrast stitching again, so you can actually see how I'm stitching. Okay, makes life easier for those of you at home. If you're just learning how to sew, you might need every single little tip of the trade. Holding it all together. See how I've just nipped that stitching out of the way. This is only 1 layer of mask, so it's probably not as effective as the double layer. 2 layers, and then we'll do the top and the bottom. Fold. Fold. I've actually allowed 2 centimetre seam allowance, but before we stitch it, we can actually put some elastic in here. Okay, there's 2 different types of elastic you can have. You can have just a little loop piece over your ear, or you can have a piece all the way around your back of your head. Got 2 pieces of elastic. The lower one is 29 centimetres cut, and the top one is 46 centimetres long. So on the top one, I'm going to fold over and over, just catch it down like that. And then when we get to the other side, you may want the elastic going around your ears, but I prefer it around my head, especially if I've got to sit in it for the day. And this side, tuck it in a good centimetre and come back on the stitching that you did before. Back tack it a couple of times, make sure it's attached nicely. Then you can do the lower edge, so fold it up, 1, 2, just use your fingers and your eyes, you can measure it. After a while you'll get used to how much a centimetre is. Just going over the same stitching that we did before. And then we can come along the lower edge. Just fold it over, squish it with your fingers. Just depends on what mask is more comfortable for you. Everyone's different. Everyone likes something different. You can create your own now. Tuck that in. And catch that down. So we have a smaller edge and a larger edge. Let's try the bottom. So here's the second type of mask. We have a top strap that's just sitting up high, and then a lower strap that's just sitting around my neck. Both a little bit loose, but they at least hold the four sides, which is better than around your ears, because it's not very comfortable around your ears, okay? So on my mask, it's a little bit loose, so I'm just going to fold it in a couple of centimetres and then try it on again. So don't snip it off just yet in case you change your mind. Just catch it down. And I'll do the same on the other side. Just a little bit tighter because I did measure it with my fingers. And we'll try it on again. I've just slightly adjusted these. Let's try them on again. So we have a higher up one across the top of my head and then a lower one down the bottom of my neck or underneath my pony. So it's much more comfortable sitting lower, and the one at the top, you could probably even go a little bit tighter if you wanted to, but that's sitting just under my ponytail. Depends on your hairstyle and what you've got, but it's actually sitting on your face. You've got enough length there and it's sitting nicely. It's not bagging away from your face. Whoops. You can pull it down if you want to, and then you can pop it back up. But at least I have a mask and I can be hands-free and it's not going to fall off, or it's nice and firmly attached. Okay. You can do much thinner elastic. This is just hat elastic that I've used in another one, exactly the same. And it just goes straight over your ears. So it can pull out and just sit there hooked on your ears if that's what you want. Depends. You can use the thicker 5mm elastic if you want to. And it fits much the same and it stays on and you can be hands-free, but it's just, I find it more comfortable with the bigger straps. So that is another option, okay? There is also options of, if you don't like elastic, you can do vice binding across the top and have ties coming all the way around to tie at the back of your head and to tie at the back of your neck. Instead of having the loops, that's another option. So here's the lycra version. We're just going to stitch, straight stitch, back tuck, straight stitch, and I'll just stretch it a little bit but not too much, okay? Get the end of your piece together and hold it and work it through, okay? This third option is very comfortable and the most versatile. Now we're just going to fold it up, so 5 centimetres, and catch the seam again, which gives it a bit of a hem, and the same at the other end, good 5 centimetres. So our big tube that we have of our lycra, well, you can use any type of stretch fabric. Doesn't matter whether you cut it lengthways or widthways. This way's got more stretch in it. This way's got slightly less stretch in it, okay? If you try and stick to the grain, if you go across the grain, you're asking for troubles. So what we've done is we've done a 1 centimetre seam, we've folded over roughly about 5 centimetres and just caught it down close, okay? Same to the other end, just catch it down, and then when we fold that out, that becomes a beautiful bagged out edge, okay? Same with the other end. We fold it over, really easy way of neatening things off. We don't need to overlock it because it's not going to fray. We don't need to overlock it because we're not going to see the inside of it, okay? And it'll be wash and wear. Turn it in the right way and let's pop it on, see how it goes. It feels a little bit tight initially because it's got to be tight to put it on your nose. So you can do the 5 centimetre fold over and pop it on your nose, okay? This is better for a temporary measure, okay? It can also turn into just like a nice scarf, or you can also have it as a headband, as my last video was. Does the trick. Okay, so multi-purpose neck gaiter, very easy to make. So my head's 57 centimetres, this one is cut at 47 centimetres, and it's fine to pop on. You can have it double, you can have it single. Your whole mouth and nose is covered. If you cough or sneeze, it's totally covered. The only thing is, it doesn't feel as secure to me personally on my nose. Okay, so that's all double thickness through here. That might feel a little bit more secure. It just feels like it's going to fall down. That's all. Or you can tuck your ears in as well. Covers everything. That holds a little bit better. Okay, thanks for watching. See you again next week. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's been a really interesting challenge to make this one. There's so many different things that you can include in making masks, and there's so many different things that we could add into this. We could add in little nose pieces, little clips over our nose to help the mask cling onto your nose, to stick onto your face a little bit tighter to make it quite air safe. There's been various comments I've had from medical professionals saying it's better not to wear a mask, or it's better to wear a mask, or it's the wrong style of mask, or there needs to be 3 layers of fabric, or it needs to be specific types of fabrics. So there's a lot of different things to take into perspective when you're creating your own masks. You can do your own research, and I've just given you a guide on my opinion, my professional fashion opinion as a pattern maker, to create a mask that fits you. There's also one very important thing to remember when you're making a mask, is that the more fabric that it takes up, it's taking away from your face. So when you're talking to people, you're losing quite a bit of your identity, and it's really hard for people to see what you're feeling when you're wearing a mask. You can't actually see that person smiling or laughing or being happy, sad. It's really hard to gauge the feelings that are behind that mask, okay? So we need to remember that. That's why I've created the smaller mask number 1, to have much less fabric that's showing the most amount of your face as possible while still covering your nose and your mouth. Thanks for joining us today on Sew Your Own Mask. Now you can log on to margotbelldesigns.com.au and access your free mask pattern for mask 1 and 2. Up next, we have the exciting art of applique, how to transform a garment into something completely fabulous by adding something onto it. So a reminder to please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay informed on all the latest news and patterns and videos that are coming out for you to enjoy. Stay safe, everyone. So enjoy.